Audio Jungle.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Mexico News Network's Breaking News. Thank you for joining us. I am your host, Elisa Carballo, and we have excellent information for you guys coming right ahead. But before we do, let me remind you to browse through our website on www.mexiconewsnetwork.com, your number one source of positive, relevant, and useful information of Mexico to the world. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, as well as Google+. You will find us as Mexico News Network. Now let's begin with today's main headline stories. As part of the evolution of consumers' preference, American brands such as Sears, Blockbuster, and Woolworths are in fact disappearing in the US. However, oddly enough, they are expanding and growing in their neighboring country, Mexico, of course. As business groups and investors have noticed, these brands are aspirational for many Mexican citizens and actually becoming quite profitable. Some U.S. retail brands have found in Mexico a clearer path, as well as a nurturing market, as these stores are not faced with much competition and online shopping is still on its initial phase. This situation has bolstered the presence of Sears, Blockbuster, and Woolworths stores all across Mexico. Sears in Mexico, for example, is controlled by Grupo Sanborns S.A.B., which is currently owned by Mexico's richest man, Carlos Slim. This brand has increased its sales in this country, and there are great plans to open up more stores in the future, adding to their almost 90 establishments all over Mexico. This stands in the contrast to its status in the U.S., which has seen the closing of 61 stores in the last fiscal year, 2014. Blockbuster Video was given a brand new opportunity last year when Ricardo Salinas Pliego, owner of Grupo Electra S.A.B. and fifth richest person in Mexico, decided to buy 300 stores in the nation. Even though multiple affordable online video platforms are available in Mexico, people still visit these stores to rent video games as well as buy cheap DVDs and Blu-rays. Woolworths stores, on the other hand, which went out of business in the U.S. back in the 90s, have actually seen a great increase in sales of 5% annually in Mexico, according to Bloomberg. The company is planning to open 3 locations in Mexico by 2016, adding to their 30 stores located across 15 states of Mexico. Now, it might seem strange, however, on the bright side, the Mexican market has given these bankrupt or fading brands a second chance, an opportunity to bounce back on the market or gain time to plan a different strategy in order to regain their original market. In more information, as a result of the United States-Mexico high-level economic dialogue established by President Enrique Peña Nieto and his American counterpart Barack Obama, the governments of the United States and Mexico have been working together to set up the first 3 joint custom offices to streamline export and import procedures between both nations. Luis Videgaray Caso, the Mexican Secretary of Finance, announced the establishment of the first 3 joint custom offices from Mexico and the U.S. during the 76th National Conference of Foreign Trade and Customs. Mr. Videgaray stated on the occasion that they work in coordination with their main commercial partner to innovate, as well as to do things different than was done beforehand, which means authorizing exports as well as imports with one single procedure. The offices are scheduled to open during the second semester of this year, 2015. The very first one has already opened in Laredo, Texas, and specializes in the importation of electronic supplies as well as parts for Mexico's growing aerospace and automobile industry. Tijuana, in the Mexican state of Baja California, will be the location of the second dual customs office and will facilitate agricultural product exports. Now, the third office will be in Ciudad Juárez, in the Mexican state of Chihuahua. This one in particular will be focused on the exportation of electronic as well as computer goods. Secretary Videgaray also stated that this is only a part of a great continuous effort to improve the customs office in the country as part of a larger scale plan to to modernize as well as reorganize this process between 2013 and 2018. In more news, Fiat Chrysler Automobiles Mexico has announced its brand new green projects, all of this for its Mexican production plants. It will be generating its electricity using only wind power. For this purpose, FCA has signed an important agreement with Ventica, a wind power farm developed by Cemex Energía, which will make this goal possible by 2016. This strategic alliance will supply wind power not only to FCA's production plants, but also to its corporate offices, reducing its carbon dioxide emissions by around 140,000 tons per year. Now, this corresponds with the reduction of emissions of a city with 500,000 inhabitants, which is amazing news for our Mother Nature. Now, according to the plan, Ventica would provide FCA Mexico around 200 megawatts each year, making these plants the very first in North America to have such an important capacity, all for renewable energy production. The project, in fact, would cover 42% of the energy requirements of its production plants in the state of Mexico and Coahuila, and 86% of the energy of its corporate offices in Mexico City, as well as in the state of Mexico. The VP of FCA Mexico's manufacturing division, Mr. Jorge Luis Lares, stated in a communique that green projects such as these are not new to the company. He quoted, "All of their manufacturing processes have wastewater treatment for zero discharge." Currently, there are 2 Ventica wind farms, each of which can produce 126 megawatts. It's estimated, though, that both will be up and running by the second trimester of 2016. They are owned by Cemex Energía División and have Fisterra Energy, a leading Spanish energy firm, as their prime and #1 investor. Moving along to more information, Laboratorio para la Ciudad, literally in English, Laboratory for the City, is an experimental government department of Mexico City that aims to ease the interaction between citizens and government in order to work as one on the task of generating ideas and creating solutions. All of it takes into consideration the notion that urban problems are not just the responsibility of the government, but also of the citizenship. Mexico City has been slowly gravitating toward a concept of openness, one example being the approval of the Open City Act by the Legislative Assembly of Mexico. Now, this law grants citizens the right to participate in the designing of public policies as well as government policy through technological tools, therefore creating an organized digital debate as a democratic experiment of participation and innovation. This first-of-its-kind department in Latin America seeks to reconnect citizens to the authorities through a reimagining of the government as a catalyzing agent of creativity, innovation, as well as change. Stated on the laboratory's official website, places like Mexico City give them the opportunity to start exploring and experimenting with new solutions for a brand new urban age by prototyping in the present what cities of the future would actually look like. Now, Laboratory for the City has very similar qualities to any lab in the nation, and they try to find alternative solutions for urban problems. All of this in collaboration with the citizens by following traditional scientific methodology. The process might not be as traditional as they perform innovative experiments with civic innovation as well as urban creativity. Now, this way, they are all able to reach alternative solutions to urban problems. The lab gathers a multidisciplinary group of people seeking to work with others who think active collaboration can in fact achieve what passive criticism cannot. All of the project is part of the larger development of an urban mobility plan. In order to gather citizens' mobility information, the lab created a mobile app, which itself gathers anonymous data to improve public policies, mobility, and the quality of life. It's amazing news, especially for the city of Mexico. Now please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more information. Stay with us after these few messages.